That night during our graduation trip, the class monitor suggested we draw room numbers to pair up. Destiny is predetermined. No matter if you're a guy or a girl, if you draw the same number, you'll share a room. How exciting! For 4 years of university, Rosie and I had been secretly dating for 3 years, and no one knew. I pulled a ball from the box and waited for the pairing. When it was Rosie's turn, she called out, "Room 7. The class monitor instantly raised his voice. The other person in room 7 is Emmanuel. The boy she had passionately pursued suddenly smiled. The whole crowd erupted in excitement, claiming it was a match made in heaven. Only I stayed silent. No one knew that just before the game started, I had heard the class monitor quietly say to her, "Look for the one with the round bump. I specifically saved that one for you and Emmanuel." Watching Rosie blush and walk over to Emmanuel, adjusting his collar, I smiled too. Turns out, 3 years of waiting couldn't even get me a single public relationship with her. This time, I decided to be the one who steps back first. Chapter 1. The room numbers hadn't even been fully announced, but the atmosphere in the venue had already reached its peak. The class monitor handed out red wristbands, loudly emphasizing, "I'll say it again, same number, pair up. During this 3-day, 2-night trip, you must stick together the entire time. Your wristband color is your guide. No wandering off alone." Whistles rang out, and some girls even winked at Rosie on purpose. Emmanuel was still smiling, wearing his wristband as he took her small bag. Rosie's face turned even redder as her small body shrank behind him. Emmanuel took off his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. "Don't mess around. Rosie is shy." "Oh, so quick to protect her. Everyone watch out. If Rosie gets upset, Emmanuel might come after us." The teasing grew louder. I stood outside the crowd, holding the ball in my left hand and dragging the heavy suitcase with my right. Before leaving, Rosie stuffed her things into my suitcase. "When we get there, you'll be carrying my bag. You won't be able to handle another suitcase." She also pointed to my new jacket. "How about that one? I heard it's cold there at night. Perfect for me to wear." After 3 years of dating, she had never been publicly affectionate with me in front of classmates, let alone wear my jacket. So, I was overjoyed, thinking she was finally going to go public with our relationship during the trip. But on the first day of the trip, she wore Emmanuel's jacket. The small bag she said she would make me carry was now on his shoulder. The suitcase was unbearably heavy, pulling half of my body down, my fingers and shoulders stinging with pain. I bent down, set the suitcase down, cleared my throat, and suppressed the hoarseness. Then I raised my hand. Everyone looked over, and the class monitor, still excited, asked, "What's up, Joel? Emmanuel's your roommate. You want to say something as his roommate?" Emmanuel froze, awkwardly twitching the corner of his mouth. Rosie suddenly looked up and gave me a nervous, warning look, but she was nervous for the wrong reason. I simply showed the ball in my hand and asked, "Who's 3? The class monitor scanned the crowd, and someone on the other side of the room raised their hand. "I am." It was one of the quieter girls in the class. The class monitor laughed. "It's Nadia. I know you're single. Joel, what about you? If you're single, you two can stay together. If you have a girlfriend, we'll switch you with a guy." I gently interrupted him. "I'm single." From the corner of my eye, I saw Rosie's brows loosen and then furrow again. She turned her head, seemingly to look at Nadia, but the class monitor had already pulled out the orange wristband. "Great, you're both single. Maybe you'll end up as a pair." I took the wristband and nodded politely. "Thanks." As I picked up the suitcase again, I felt a pair of eyes on me. I didn't know what expression she had at that moment, but probably, it was a sigh of relief. The room assignments were settled, and we started lining up for check-in. Emmanuel went to make a call to his family, and Rosie was taking her time, only handing over their IDs when it was just me left. "You should go find the class monitor and tell him you don't want to stay with a girl. Ask for a guy or to stay alone. You can pay the difference for the room." She lowered her voice and kept her gaze straight ahead, not even giving me a side glance. I was texting my parents to let them know I arrived safely and didn't lift my head. "Why? What do you mean why? You're not single. How can you stay with someone of the opposite sex? What about you? Are you single?" Rosie's fingers froze, and her tone became more arrogant. "This was the rule from the start. I'm just respecting the results of the draw." I spoke softly. I'm also respecting the results of the draw." Her almond-shaped eyes widened in disbelief, but before she could speak, I grabbed the room key and turned away. After taking a few steps, the class monitor loudly announced, "Everyone, head to the multimedia room in half an hour. I've booked it for us. We're taking a trip down memory lane." Watching the Freshman Sports Meet documentary, I didn't stop walking, just adjusted the handle of my suitcase. The documentary of the Freshman Sports Meet, the documentary where Rosie had passionately pursued Emmanuel. Chapter 2. In the multimedia room, there was a table full of snacks and fruit. As soon as Rosie sat down, she moved the grapes in front of Emmanuel, A male classmate sitting nearby jokingly teased. Rosie really favors Emmanuel. She knows he loves grapes, so she's left the whole plate for him. Others chimed in, teasing Emmanuel, who helplessly pushed the plate away. But his tone was appreciative. Everyone, let's share. Rosie bought me a lot. If it's not enough, we can go back to the room to get more. But Rosie pulled the plate back and kept smiling. I'll go get some. You eat first. She stood up and left, and the teasing in the multimedia room immediately went through the roof. Emmanuel says one thing, and Rosie immediately goes to do it. She's so good to you. Emmanuel smiled, eating grapes, and suddenly called my name, Joel. When Rosie brings it over later, you should eat more. I remember you love grapes too. The door opened, and Rosie walked in with 2 plates of grapes, all placed in front of Emmanuel. She knew, in these 3 years, I had bought grapes countless times, and she had often told me with dissatisfaction, eat less. These grapes are so sweet. If you eat too many, you'll get pimples. I casually picked up an orange and heard the class monitor call out to me, Joel, where's Nadia? Everyone turned to look at me. I peeled the orange without lifting my head. She had something urgent to take care of, so she left for now. The class monitor sounded disappointed. Well, that pair is in trouble, but no worries. The other pair will definitely work out. Rosie's gaze lingered on me for a moment before she looked away. The documentary's starting. Her voice had a hint of exhalation as she smoothly handed Emmanuel a grape. The documentary lasted for 2 hours. Everyone was excited, and whenever Rosie and Emmanuel appeared, people laughed and teased. Rosie's wiping Emmanuel's sweat again. He's only running 50 meters, and you're following him closer than the cameraman. Look, she even has bottled water, a small fan, and sunscreen ready. Emmanuel, everyone in school knew Rosie was chasing after you. How could you resist? You made her stay single for 4 years, and she's still thinking about you after graduation. Emmanuel looked at Rosie, his expression gentle. I thought campus relationships are unstable, so I wanted to wait until graduation to consider it. I didn't expect she would wait for me all this time. A girl teased. Rosie, it must have been tough waiting for 4 years, right? Rosie met his gaze and nodded slightly. It was fine. Those few words held 4 years of patience and admiration. Sighs filled the room, but I just laughed to myself. Tough? She had pursued Emmanuel passionately for 6 months without success, then switched to tennis. I was the main player on the school's tennis team, and she asked me to be her coach for 6 months. As soon as the second year started, she confessed to me, she was doing fine, though our relationship wasn't public. We were happy and content. Or perhaps, it was only me who felt truly happy. I took a bite of the orange when suddenly, a classmate pointed at the screen and shouted, Joel, why is the class monitor still giving you an umbrella? Did she ever chase after you? The topic shifted to me. No, she just did it out of kindness. I shook my head, but the classmate continued. Such a pity the class monitor didn't come today. But she clearly likes you. You should think about it. I think you two would make a great match. On the other side, Rosie was pouring water for Emmanuel, moving gracefully as if she hadn't heard our conversation. I smiled faintly. No, thanks. Actually, I have a girlfriend. That figure stiffened suddenly. Her fingertips clenched into a fist. I understood her. She was worried I might say something inappropriate. But the classmate grabbed my arm and loudly asked, Who? Is she from our class? Dozens of eyes turned towards me, but I kept my smile, nodding. Yeah. Chapter 3. The atmosphere immediately grew lively, with everyone asking which girl I was referring to. Rosie's face gradually darkened as she lowered her head, staring at her phone. I noticed the phone vibrated twice, but I didn't look at it. I just said, she had something to do, so she didn't come. There were 7 or 8 girls who hadn't shown up today. The class monitor, disappointed, was about to ask further when Emmanuel suddenly called out with an His cup had tipped over, spilling water on his pants. Rosie quickly grabbed some tissues to help him dry off. He bent over, stopping her, with a guilty look. Sorry, I didn't hold it properly. It's okay. I'll go with you to change. Be careful, you might catch a cold. She took Emmanuel and left, and with that, the documentary lost its appeal. The crowd dispersed. When I returned to my room, my suitcase was open. Rosie's change of clothes and makeup bag were gone. That night, I kept staring at my phone. The unread messages on the screen were still the same 2 sentences she sent. Don't say anything. Don't ruin the atmosphere. Yeah, I, as her boyfriend, shouldn't spoil the ambiguous atmosphere she has with other boys. Just like in the sophomore year charity sale, even though I made the highest profit, I had to leave the award certificate to Emmanuel so as not to overshadow the class heartthrob. Or like in the junior year tennis match, when Emmanuel casually said, I want to try playing in the competition. I had to withdraw so as not to discourage his enthusiasm. In these 3 years, Rosie had been very good to me. She handed me water during tennis matches, knitted me scarves when it got cold. Apart from not being willing to go public, She did everything a girlfriend should do, but when it came to Emmanuel, I was always the one who had to step back. As the sun rose, my phone still hadn't vibrated. I stared at the rising sun outside the window, feeling a growing sense of calm within. The day's plan was to visit some tourist spots. Rosie and Emmanuel, wearing their red wristbands, walked together the whole time. The camera I bought for her was now in Emmanuel's hands. He took pictures of her at every popular photo spot and even took selfies with her in front of the landmarks. While resting by the bridge, someone asked me about my future plans. "Joel, do you plan to stay in B City or go back to a city?" I replied calmly, "I'm going back to a city." Rosie was wiping sweat off Emmanuel and glanced at me, either intentionally or unintentionally. The class monitor nudged her. "Emmanuel is from B City, so you'll definitely stay in B City, right?" Without thinking, Rosie blurted out, "Of course." Emmanuel looked down, his lips curling into a smile. He subtly moved closer to her, leaning against her tightly. Some classmates seemed puzzled. "Joel, didn't you already secure a job in B City? Why are you going back?" I smiled. "I canceled the job. I want to be closer to my parents." "Is that for real? Is it for your parents? Or for your girlfriend?" The crowd leaned in gossiping. My smile deepened. "Both. My parents are getting older, so I want to stay close and take care of them. As for her, she's decided to settle in a city too." The crowd continued to tease and ask which girl I was talking about, but I just shook my head, refusing to say anything. At the next tourist spot, Rosie stopped me by the bathroom door. "Did you really cancel the job?" She sounded anxious. After all, we had both looked for the job together. The company had chosen me because of my performance, and my condition for joining was that they had to hire my girlfriend as well. Now that I had canceled, she couldn't stay either. I nodded and spoke calmly. "Yeah, my parents arranged jobs for us in a city. After settle down, get engaged." "Joel." Rosie suddenly burst out in anger, but afraid of others hearing, she suppressed her fury, her face turning pale. "Who gave you the right to casually arrange my future?" Chapter 4. She left in anger. The group was loosely scattered, and she pulled Emmanuel along, walking at the very front. I stayed at the back, chatting casually with a few classmates. It wasn't until dinner at the buffet that Emmanuel spoke up clearly at the table. "The Perseid meteor shower, you guys don't know about it." Rosie said there's an observation spot nearby. There can be hundreds per hour. Everyone present immediately became interested and started making plans to go see it. The class monitor clicked his tongue. "Can you guys be a little more perceptive? You can see meteors from the hotel too. Don't go play third wheel in front of them." Everyone instantly understood. True, the observation spot has the best view. It should be reserved for the people who need it most. Rosie served Emmanuel food, though she didn't say anything. The blush on her cheeks said it all. This buffet didn't suit me, the flavors were too strong. I took a few bites of seafood, but the seasoning stuck in my throat, making it impossible to swallow. Lowering my head, I spat it out and got up to find something lighter. The class monitor followed me and said quietly, "Joel, I saw your post a few days ago. You said you wanted to go to the observation spot to watch the meteor shower. Why don't you skip it? Don't disturb Rosie and Emmanuel." I nodded. "I know. Top of the class. Huh. Smart. Let me tell you something you didn't know, actually. I arranged for them to draw the same number." I nodded again. "I heard you when you told Rosie." The class monitor looked surprised. Someone called him from behind, so he turned and left. I lifted the lid of the millet porridge just as Rosie came over to get pumpkin porridge for Emmanuel. Her tone was natural. "I was wrong today. I shouldn't have gotten angry at you. I know, you're upset because I'm staying in the same room as Emmanuel. But don't worry. Last night I slept on the bed, and he slept on the floor. We just chatted casually. We're only staying together because of the game rules. Nothing will actually happen." I scooped the porridge and responded with a simple, She didn't look up. "Talk to your parents. It's better for us to develop our careers in B City. There's no need to go to a city. Once our jobs are stable, we can settle down here." This time, I didn't respond. After finishing the porridge, I turned around. She hesitated, then suddenly called out to me, "Joel. Emmanuel is really looking forward to tonight's meteor shower. I promised I'd watch it with him. The Perseid meteor shower happens every year anyway. Next year, we can come again." I stood with my back to her, my palm pressed against the bottom of the bowl, yet I felt no warmth at all. I opened my mouth, my voice soft. "Okay." She let out a breath of relief. As she passed by me, she didn't forget to bring a plate of grapes for Emmanuel. After dinner, I returned to my room and packed my things. I took out the outfit I had carefully prepared to propose to her under the meteor shower. The engagement ring, along with the meteor shower brochure, went straight into the trash. When I zipped up the suitcase again, it felt much lighter. The plane ticket was bought last minute, departure that night. 10 minutes before takeoff, the Perseid meteor shower streaked across the sky. Everyone marveled, recording and taking photos. I took out my phone and saw an unread message. Everything's arranged. Uncle and Auntie have gone to rest. I'm waiting for you at the airport. As the plane slowly ascended, the trailing glow of the meteors scattered silver light, illuminating half the cabin. I leaned back into my seat and slowly closed my eyes. Rosie, there is no next year for us anymore. Chapter 5. Because of the meteor shower. The group chat was buzzing with excitement. From the moment the first one appeared, everyone on the trip kept taking photos and posting them non-stop. But it was hard for ordinary phones to capture good shots, especially since the hotel wasn't the best observation spot. So when Rosie sent photos of meteor trails taken with a professional camera, the entire group chat exploded. Now that's the observation point, and a professional camera. Rosie, be honest, did you prepare for a long time just to watch the meteor shower with Emmanuel tonight? I saw your camera today. Even the lens was customized. That must have cost at least 5 figures. Right. Seeing the discussion, Rosie smiled faintly. The camera and lens together cost at least 30,000 yuan. It was Joel who had asked a photography club friend to help assemble it as her graduation gift. What a pity his suitcase couldn't fit everything, otherwise, she could have brought it all, and the meteor shots would have been even more stunning. Suddenly, Rosie froze. She thought of Joel's suitcase. Before leaving, she had lifted it. It was very heavy, so they even had to pay overweight baggage fees at the airport. But at the time, she thought that since she planned to make their relationship public during the trip, he would end up carrying both the suitcase and her bag anyway, so one suitcase was better than two. That's why she stuffed her clothes, makeup, and camera into it. Joel had struggled quite a bit before finally zipping it up. Who would have thought that once they arrived at the hotel, the class monitor would suddenly suggest drawing numbers to pair rooms? She had privately gone to the class monitor, intending to tell him that she and Joel were dating and wouldn't participate. But before she could speak, the class monitor leaned in mysteriously and whispered, "This is your last chance. When you draw later, I'll arrange for you and Emmanuel to go first. Look for the one with the round bump. I specially saved it for you too." She was stunned. Something inside her heart stirred, almost leaping out with excitement. The class monitor leaned closer to her ear. Emmanuel already agreed. "You understand what that means, right? Don't waste my effort. If you miss this, the next time you see each other might only be at the once-a-year class reunion." A once-a-year reunion, seeing him again only after a year. That was too far away. So she agreed. She picked ball number 7 and naturally ended up staying in the same room as Emmanuel. Halfway through, she even went to Joel's room to take her things. She thought that way the suitcase would be lighter, so it would be easier for him to carry. Right. It should have been easier. Right. Rosie suddenly felt uneasy. She opened the group chat and looked around. There were no photos from Joel, and he hadn't said a single word. Frowning, she opened his chat and typed, "Didn't you watch the meteor shower? You can still see a bit from the hotel. If you can't see it, go to the rooftop. It's mentioned in the brochure. Or ask the front desk where to watch." Just as she finished sending the message, Emmanuel called out to her, "Rosie, help me take a photo with the meteor shower. My phone can't capture it." Chapter 6. She snapped back to her senses and immediately put down her phone to take photos for him. After that, he wanted to take selfies together, so she busied herself for over an hour. By the time the storage was completely full, she went to look for a spare memory card. When transferring the photos to her laptop, she glanced at the screen. The entire gallery was packed, either pictures of Emmanuel alone or photos of the two of them together. But when Joel gave her the camera, it was because she loved photography, so she could take pictures of them, the two of them. For a moment, Rosie felt a flicker of guilt. She simply stopped the transfer and picked up her phone. Still no reply. She typed, "Haven't seen it yet. Everyone in the group chat already has. Go find the class monitor. His spot has a good view." After sending it, she paused, then added, "Don't say I told you to go. It's better if our relationship isn't known by our classmates yet. It might shock them." Even after sending the messages, Rosie still felt uneasy. While Emmanuel was busy watching the meteor shower, she quickly sent several more messages. "I'm not saying we'll never go public. I just think we just graduated. We need to give people time to accept it. After the trip, we're starting our jobs. Right now, we should focus on our careers. Once things are stable and we settle down in B City, I'll arrange a class gathering and tell everyone publicly. You can even propose to me on the spot. I'll definitely say yes. How does that sound?" After sending everything, she went back and sat down. Emmanuel leaned in close beside her. That familiar fresh, grassy scent, the one she had been drawn to since freshman year, lingered in the air. Rosie quietly adjusted her breathing as she heard him ask, "Rosie, the class monitor said you got an offer from a top-tier company. Is that true?" She nodded. "I'll go complete the onboarding procedures the day after tomorrow." Emmanuel smiled brightly, like the meteors streaking across the sky. "That company only looks at academic performance. You can't even get in by bribing your way. Rosie, you're amazing." His praise made her heart flutter. She didn't notice that he had leaned even closer, wrapping an arm around her. I heard, employees at that company can help arrange jobs for family members. Could you refer me internally? You know, my home is closest to there. It'll be convenient for us in the future. Rosie's back stiffened instantly. She avoided his eager gaze, her voice faltering. I can't refer you. Why not? I checked the official website, even before officially starting. Once you have the offer, you can already make referrals. It's just a simple thing to say, right? He paused, his voice lowering. Or, are you just not planning to help me? No. Rosie hurriedly denied it. Seeing the disappointment creeping into his eyes, she had no choice but to force herself to explain. I was referred in myself, so I don't have that qualification. Why don't you look at other job opportunities instead? Emmanuel immediately let go of her. Who referred you internally? Chapter 7. Of course, Rosie didn't dare mention Joel's name. An employee referral could only be for family members or romantic partners. If she mentioned Joel, it would mean exposing their relationship. But in front of Emmanuel, she couldn't bring herself to say it. This was the boy she had once loved, the softest place in her heart. Even after she fell for Joel and dated him for 3 years, there was always a place reserved for Emmanuel deep inside. That was why she agreed to the class monitor's arrangement. Why she didn't follow her original plan to go public. Why, for this meteor shower, she chose him. She thought that in the future, she would definitely live a proper life with Joel. So this time, she might as well follow her heart, treat it as a final farewell to the passionate love she once had. So she casually said it was a relative who referred her, and then accompanied Emmanuel back to the hotel. But he remained silent the whole way, only saying softly that he wanted to go back to the room and rest. The moment the door closed, Rosie immediately ran to Joel's floor. No matter how much she knocked, he didn't open the door. He didn't answer calls or reply to messages. Irritation built up in her chest. As she kept knocking, her temper flared. She sent a voice message directly. Joel, you said you'd watch the meteor shower all night. There's no way you're asleep. Open the door. What exactly are you throwing a tantrum about? Just because I'm staying in the same room as Emmanuel. Can you be reasonable? You're not a child. Don't you understand respecting the rules? We drew the same number. It's not like we had a choice. And besides, didn't you also draw the same number as Nadia? Aren't you staying with her too? A man and a woman alone. At that point, she remembered Nadia had already left. So she scrolled up and cancelled that part. Anyway, just open the door. I'll show you the meteor photos I took. If you're really bothered, then we don't have to wait until settling down. Once our jobs are stable, I'll make our relationship public. Is that enough? She sent dozens of scattered messages, but none were answered. Rosie completely lost her patience. Fine, if you insist on making a scene, then go ahead. When she returned to the room, it was already 3 a.m. Emmanuel was asleep. She quietly took a shower and slipped under the covers. She slept until noon. The moment she woke up, she checked her phone. Still no messages. Behind her, Emmanuel noticed she was awake and spoke. Rosie, do you remember that time in the tennis hall? Joel knocked me down and injured my knee. I had to use crutches for a month. You were the first one to rush over and check on me. You even brought meals to my dorm every day. When I told my mom about you, she said you'd make a great daughter-in-law. Rosie's attention was still on her phone. She replied casually, Joel didn't touch you. You fell because the floor was slippery after being mopped. I was afraid you'd blame him, so I went to check on you. Emmanuel froze, then sat up in disbelief. Then what about the meals you brought me? You kept insisting Joel caused your fall. I brought you food because I was afraid you'd target him. And I brought double portions, mainly for Joel, and just gave you some on the side. Before she could finish, Rosie stopped. She realized she had told the truth. A truth even she herself hadn't fully realized before. Turning back, Emmanuel's expression darkened. The once clear and gentle eyes now reflected resentment. So my instincts were right, you and Joel are dating. And that job was referred by him. Rosie, are you out of your mind? How does he even compare to me? You once liked someone as perfect as me. How could you lower your standards and be with someone like him? The room fell into dead silence. Rosie slowly sat up, her face growing colder by the second. What do you mean, someone like him? Joel is more genuine than you, smarter than you, and works harder than you. Unlike you, clearly you look down on me. Yet you strung me along from freshman year all the way to graduation. You said campus relationships were unstable. So what about the 8 girlfriends you had during those 4 years? Chapter 8. The conversation ended abruptly, with Rosie storming off in frustration. She only took a small bag, carefully packing the camera and laptop inside. Her change of clothes and makeup were stuffed into a random plastic bag as she angrily went to find Joel. By coincidence, she ran into the class monitor and the others, who had just returned from buying souvenirs and were heading back to the hotel for lunch. Seeing her expression, they found it strange. What's wrong? Things not going well with Emmanuel. Weren't things fine when you were watching the meteor shower last night? Did you argue? Was it because he didn't take good photos? Every time I take bad photos, My girlfriend gets so mad she wants to break up with me. Hey, where are you going? The class monitor watched her go knock on Joel's door. Looking confused. You're looking for Joel. He already checked out. Rosie's fingers froze. She turned her head stiffly. When did he check out? Isn't the trip supposed to end this afternoon? He left right after dinner last night. Said something came up at home. He probably went back to a city. Wait, why are you looking for him? You two don't usually interact much. Why do you suddenly need him? Rosie didn't answer. She quickly opened WeChat, only to see that the chat window was filled with her own messages. Joel hadn't replied. In fact, he might not have even read them. She didn't waste time explaining. She called him directly. His phone was off. The class monitor and the others couldn't make sense of it and turned to ask around. When Joel left, did he tell anyone what he was going back to a city for? It's been a while. He should already be home by now. Right. A girl suddenly showed a gossiping expression. Didn't you see the posts? Joel rushed back to a city to have dinner with his girlfriend and both families. He's probably busy right now. Rosie immediately looked up, her face darkening. That's impossible. My parents aren't even in a city. How could we have dinner together? The girl looked at her, puzzled. Who said it was you? You're not his girlfriend. Check your phones. Nadia posted a 9-photo collage. Who? For a moment, Rosie's mind went blank. The class monitor and the others pulled out their phones, then burst into excited applause. So it's Nadia. No wonder. Joel said his girlfriend wasn't here. Nadia left on the first night, so she wasn't here either. Only then did Rosie remember. Nadia was the girl who had drawn the same number as Joel. Nadia had always had a low presence in class. Rosie didn't even have her on WeChat. Rosie's pupils shrank as she snatched the class monitor's phone. At the center of the collage was a group photo. Both sets of parents were seated in the front. Joel, dressed in a suit, stood beside Nadia in the back. He was smiling gently, holding Nadia tightly in his arms. The others still found it unbelievable, while a female classmate winked mysteriously. Did you see the caption? Rosie's gaze moved upward. There were only a few words. 7 years of unrequited love, finally fulfilled today. I just found out too, Nadia and Joel have been classmates since high school. She chased after him passionately for 3 years, and the whole school knew about it. She even chose the same university and majored just for him. She might have seemed invisible to us these 4 years, but she never gave up behind the scenes. And now they even got paired together by chance. It's basically fate. More and more classmates gathered, all talking excitedly. Rosie's nerves snapped. From the crowd, someone asked, "Hey, do you think they were already together back in school? Secretly dating without telling us? Maybe. What if they've been together since freshman year? That's impossible." Rosie cut them off sharply, her face pale, each word forced out through clenched teeth. "I'm his girlfriend. We've been together for 3 years. The entire hallway fell silent. The class monitor's mouth dropped open as he gasped. "You too, but he. Then when he heard me tell you about tampering with the balls, why didn't he say anything?" In that instant, it felt like Rosie had been struck by lightning. He knew. He knew from the very beginning. No wonder, no wonder. Chapter 9. After spending the whole day accompanying both families, we sent my parents back home and then dropped Nadia's parents off at their hotel. When everything finally quieted down, Nadia sat in the passenger seat and gently adjusted my collar, which had been messed up by the wind. "Are you sure you don't want me to drive? You came back overnight, you must be exhausted." I gave a soft "Get some sleep. I'll wake you when we arrive." She nodded, but couldn't quite fall asleep. Instead, she turned to look out the window. I couldn't help asking, "Nadia, how did you manage to hold on for so long?" She reached over with her left hand, took my fingers, and gave them a light squeeze. "You should say, good thing I held on for so long. Good thing. I went on that graduation trip too." At a red light, I stopped the car and turned to look at her. She continued, "I came to a city in advance. I've already thought through most of our future. As for the job, please thank your parents for me." I nodded. "You don't need to feel pressured. Your grades far exceed that company's standards. My parents only submitted our resumes. You were hired because of your ability, not connections." She smiled and squeezed my hand again. "But I still need to say thank you. Thank you for everything, for letting my wish finally come true." I let her hold my hand for a moment, then gently pulled away to focus on driving. Outside the window was the scenery I had grown up with. Originally, for Rosie, I had planned to stay in B-City. That company's hiring process was complicated. I went through 8 rounds of interviews alone, each one draining. Every time after an interview, I would feel completely worn down, but I kept thinking that if I succeeded, I could refer Rosie in. We could work together, and maybe, we could stay together forever. But things didn't turn out that way. When the car stopped downstairs at my apartment, I yawned and just got out when Nadia suddenly walked quickly toward me. "Why is she here?" I looked up. Rosie was running toward us. Under the streetlight, she was drenched in sweat. As soon as she stopped, she spoke between breaths. "Joel, you can't just get together with some random woman because you're mad at me. I've already talked to my parents. I'll come to a city to develop my career. I don't want the job in B City anymore. Come here. I'll post about our relationship right now and make it public. I was a bit confused. Rosie, what exactly is our relationship? She straightened up, wiping her tears. Stop messing around. If you keep this up, everyone will think you two are actually together. Before I got on the plane, I already told the class monitor and the others that we're dating. Next, I just need to post about it. I understood. She thought I was just being spiteful, and that what I had with Nadia was an act. So I simply wrapped my arm around Nadia's shoulders and smiled lightly. I was never playing games with you. The day we drew room numbers, Nadia confessed to me in the room, and I said yes. That's why she immediately brought her parents to a city to meet mine. Next month, we're getting engaged. Chapter 10. Rosie completely lost control. That's impossible. We didn't break up that night. How could you accept her confession? If we didn't break up, then why were you staying in the same room with another guy? Her words got stuck in her throat. Unwilling to give up, she stepped forward. I didn't do it on purpose. I just didn't want others to know about our relationship. The class monitor already arranged things like that. I was just going along with everyone. And nothing happened between me and Emmanuel. Really, if you don't believe me, you can ask him yourself. She held out her phone, but I didn't take it. I know. Emmanuel already publicly announced his new girlfriend. I heard she's a wealthy businesswoman from B City. He won't have to worry about work anymore. He'll live comfortably for the rest of his life. You must be upset, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have come all the way to a city to find me. Rosie's hand froze midair as she bit down on her lip. No. I came to find you because I didn't want you to misunderstand. I like you. I love you. I can't let something this small make you leave me. I couldn't help but laugh again. You love me, yet you chose to hide our relationship and stay in the same room with another guy. Why do you have to fixate on that? We didn't even. Nothing happened. So I'm not allowed to care. Then why did you tell me to go to the class monitor and not stay with Nadia? Rosie's face turned pale when she spoke again. Her confidence was gone. That's different. Before she could finish, she suddenly glared at Nadia. And what about her? She's been coveting you for 4 years. Clearly she's got a twisted mind. How can you be with someone like her? I frowned, unwilling to let Nadia be insulted, and shot back. Rosie, you've been obsessed with Emmanuel for 4 years. Even while having a boyfriend, you couldn't let him go. If anyone's twisted, it's you. That's enough. Joel is tired. He needs rest. Nadia suddenly interrupted our argument, her tone calm. Rosie, I've always known you two were dating. At first, I thought that if you could be happy together, then giving up wouldn't be such a bad thing. But that day, I saw the class monitor tampering with the draw, and I saw you choose Emmanuel with my own eyes. That's when I knew my chance had come. Now I've taken that chance. I won. And you gave up your future with him. That's why you lost. From now on, don't come back to disturb him. She took my hand and led me away. Rosie hurried to grab me, but I avoided her. As we waited for the elevator, something suddenly came to mind. Oh, right, Rosie. I canceled my job offer, so yours is gone too. I suggest you go back to B City and find a new job soon. The rent there is expensive. Without me sharing it with you, you won't be able to afford it alone. As the elevator doors closed, Rosie's pale face became my final memory of her. Beside me, Nadia tightened her grip on my fingers. We had known each other for 7 years, yet had only been together for 2 or 3 days. She lifted her head and looked straight into my eyes, speaking earnestly. Don't worry, I'm not like her. I mean, I love you. I won't give up on you, and I won't leave you. Next year, I'll watch the Perseid meteor shower with you. As her words faded, I bent down and kissed her with a smile. Okay, time moved on. At last, I had someone whose heart belonged only to me.